New Wizards of the Coast challenge just dropped. Try going one single month without virtue signaling. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol. And get this, Magic the Gathering Pride event brings major rule shifts to Commander. First of all, we're only in May, the first day of May, and they're already advertising a Pride event about the end of June, just so to remind you that Wizards of the Coast is just a good-natured, good-hearted, caring company. They care about the marginalized individuals. They're so marginalized, they have more flags than Bill Cosby has sexual assault allegations. But hey, don't worry, this Pride event, it does only go on in America and Canada, because while they are a good-natured company that cares about the gays and the downtrodden individuals as part of the marginalized community the world over, not those in Saudi Arabia, mind you. We're gonna go ahead and get into this article. Before we do, I'm a nerdy news channel. Hit that subscribe button because I cover nerdy news every day, and as you know, Magic the Gathering is arguably my biggest nerdy love aside from Dragon Ball Z. Like, the two are the tip top, and something like this makes me sick. No, not because of the gays, but because they are quite literally changing the rules of the game for an entire weekend to accommodate the LGBT mafia. Pride Month is just 4 weeks away, and Wizards of the Coast is getting ready to celebrate in style. A brand new Magic the Gathering Pride event titled Magic Presents Pride, which is I guess points for originality. Like, is scheduled for the end of June. This is a Commander event. Now, for those of you that don't know, Commander is the single most popular format of the game. When it comes to playing a casual game that is not tournament legal, not tournament sanctioned, Commander is the most common format. It is the highest selling format. Most people nowadays, and for the last 5 to 10 years, if you're sitting around the table with your buddies playing Magic the Gathering, odds are the version you're playing is Commander. So they're taking the most popular form of the game and bending the rules, completely altering and changing the rules to virtue signal to the alphabet folks. Now, at this point, Wizards of the Coast, I've been saying it for ages, they got that virtue signal game on lock. They are better than Disney. Like House of Mauschwitz gotta take notes if they want to get as woke as Wizards of the Coast. The Commander event bends the rules of the format, taking the popular partner mechanic to new heights, both in terms of gameplay and flavor. Now, I get a lot of you guys might not know anything about Magic the Gathering. You don't have to. You don't have to know anything about Magic the Gathering to be able to understand what this is. The few things that are that you need to know about the game, I'll walk you through. It's very simple. But really, we're just talking about this because this goes to show how deep into the woods, how deep into the water the Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering is. Obviously, Dungeons and Dragons as well, even though this doesn't really correlate to Dungeons and Dragons in the slightest. But how deep into the thick of it they are when it comes to virtue signaling towards folks that do not need any sort of virtue signaling towards them. At this point, they're kind of the apex predator. They're at the top of the game. Ain't nothing happening to gay folks. Like, when you've got a company going out of its way to change the rules, the entire rule set to the most popular format of their most popular card game for a special event, all catered towards the butt-loving, yeah, I say at this point, it's probably safe to assume you aren't actually marginalized anymore. While casual in nature, with prizes that may not be exciting for competitive players, this is still a very thematic event. You know, it makes sense they're doing a very thematic event for Pride Month. We all know that homos are all about the theatrics. It also represents the further step in Magic's progressive attitude, following on from Pride Across the Multiverse Secret Lair drop 2 years ago, where they literally had a bear card that was just a bunch of overweight hairy dudes chilling out in a hot tub. The card that was originally literal bears now we're turned into the sexual slang bears for the card artwork. Like, Magic the Gathering has gone, and Wizards of the Coast as a whole, are actually out of their minds when they do these special Pride Secret Lair drops. But again, for those that don't follow the card game, I would never, ever recommend getting into it at this point, at least not getting into it, buying directly from Wizards of the Coast. If you find yourself interested in Magic, buy from third parties, buy from your local game store, buy from your friends, get into it that way, or just print the cards off and play with proxies, play with fake cards. We do not want to be giving a company money when they are this deep in the woke woods. You don't need to play all 5 colors to fly a rainbow flag in Magic anymore, and that's a huge positive for both the game and its community. Now, I've been to many a Magic the Gathering tournament. As you guys know, that is honestly my ultimate hobby. Like, if I ever miss a Saturday Night Hypnosis, or I don't stream, or I don't make a video or something to that effect, decent odds are that I took the good day off to go to a competitive Magic the Gathering tournament. Do you want to know how many times sexuality has come up in a Magic the Gathering tournament? And I've been going to them for a long time, people. I've been going to Magic the Gathering tournaments for years, and I don't recall how gay someone is ever coming up or mattering in the context of whether or not somebody won some prize money and got to qualify for regionals. To become one. Let's get into the details of this new MTG Pride event. Magic Presents Pride will run from the 28th to 30th of June this year. And yes, that's a short amount of time. I get it. It's only a 2-day event, but in those 2 days, they are literally changing the rules of the game in a way that will break the game. I'll explain the rule sets that are being changed here in a bit, but just note that it is going to break the game in an unimaginable way. It's going to effectively turn into the cartoon of what you and your siblings played growing up. Like, you maybe had a little brother or little sister, and it's just, oh, well, I'm a Super Saiyan, and you guys are like, role playing, you're playing in the treehouse, you're fighting each other, whatever it is, and your little brother's like, I'm a Super Saiyan, and you're like, yeah, well, I'm a Super Saiyan that also has Cyclops' powers from X-Men. And he's like, yeah, well, guess what? I can also pop my claws like Wolverine and shoot webs, and you guys just sort of keep escalating until you build like the dumbest original character of all time that's just so overpowered that it's not interesting. That is literally what Magic the Gathering is going to be doing, but for a literal event with their sanctioned rules and real cards. It's kind of sickening, and while it is only for a 2-day event, it also brings in the slippery slope argument. Oh, Leon, the slippery slope's not real. Yeah, well, you say that, but several years ago we were saying, what's the big deal? Let the gays get married, and now we got dudes claiming they're women going into girls' bathrooms and assaulting little children. So I say we got some pretty verifiable proof that the slippery slope is real. At what point does Magic the Gathering, what point does Wizards of the Coast just flip the switch and say, you know what? XYZ worked really well for our Pride event, or made our 0.2% of customers that are on that LGBT spectrum really happy. Let's change the rules as a whole to cater to them and just ostracize every other player, especially the long-time players that have been giving us, financial stability for years upon years that have made the brand what it is. So yeah, while it is only a one-off thing, we've seen Wizards of the Coast get increasingly progressive to the point where it has been detrimental to Dungeons and Dragons by removing things like half races, by adding things like combat wheelchairs, by trying to virtue signal to every niche whatsoever, to the point to where even one of the head honchos of Wizards of the Coast talked about how white men need to leave the hobby. Yeah, I don't think it's a stretch to say we see events like this, and this could just be a precursor for what's to come that will destroy the game even further. Unfortunately for many, their event will only be exclusive to WPN stores. A WPN store is a tournament-sanctioned store in the US and Canada. Now, hold on, Wizards of the Coast, wotc, come on! If you're so committed to diversity, equity, inclusion, if you have this burning moral commitment to the gays that play your game, to the guys and gals that like to suck some cock and lick some vag, don't you think that you should make this worldwide? Why can Sonny in Saudi Arabia not go into his local WPN store and play in the gay event? Why not have the gay event in Iraq or Iran? I imagine it's probably not because you're afraid that the tournament's going to get bombed while they're there. No, it's because you know that if you had your gay clientele go in and play the game in Iraq or Iran, they would probably come out of the tournament stoned to death. They would lose a whole lot more than the 40 life points that you have in Commander. There are some exceptions to Love Knows No Borders, it seems. The event itself is a standard Commander night, but with a twist. During the event, you can treat all legendary creatures as though they had the partner ability. Now, this is where you might need to know a little bit about Magic for this to actually matter, but I'll explain it very simply. In Magic the Gathering in Commander, you've got one special card. It's called a Commander card, and basically your whole deck is built around that card. Now, in the game, there are some very rare cards that are called partner cards, and partner cards allow you to have 2 commanders. Your whole deck is built around 2 commanders, but both cards need to have the word partner on them. So if you do not have a partner card, if both cards don't have partner on them, you can't build a partner deck. What they're going to be doing is basically eliminating the need for partner cards. Now just any 2 legendary creatures can be partners. It means you can build a deck around 2 creatures that normally would not work together and build your deck in rule-busting ways around these 2's combined abilities. It is actually insane. They give some details about some of the stuff you're able to do further down below. Maybe I'll get into that. Maybe I won't. I don't really know if it matters so much. But the point is, for anybody that loves Magic the Gathering, that loves playing the game, that understands that it is an incredibly difficult game. It is actually the most complicated game in the world. Supercomputers can't even play the game to the same high level that actual professionals play. It's been tested. It's actually really amazing. You should look it up. There's some really cool information about how complicated this game actually is. But the point is, they are breaking the game in such a way that now it will be effectively unplayable in any sort of fair capacity. This means that you can choose any 2 legendaries to be your commander. The amount of wild deck building opportunities this opens up to truly boggles the mind, especially given the increased density of legendary creatures in recent products. I hate that this article is talking about this as if it's a good thing. This is coming from MTG Rocks. MTG Rocks, as you would probably guess by the name of the outlet, are one of the biggest shills for Magic the Gathering Wizards of the Coast as a whole. Very, very rarely do they ever criticize WotC, Wizards of the Coast, or even when they do, it's very light and they run defense for their bad decisions in a way that looks as if they're criticizing them, but is always giving them the benefit of the doubt. So yes, they're talking about this as if it's a good thing. Of course they would talk about it as if it's a good thing. Not only are they a shill outlet, but if they come out against this, they're going to look like they're homophobic, they're going to like they're anti-LGBT, the website's going to get shut down, they're not going to be acknowledged by Wizards of the Coast anymore, they won't get their special goodie bags and foil cards and promo events that I'm sure they get for writing these sellout articles. The official event announcement does specify that choosing creatures who already have partner won't let you have more than 2 commanders for this event, mind you. So if you have any sneaky ideas about cramming your command zone to the brim, leave them at the door. In addition, the extra command zone will still count towards your 100 card deck size as like a normal commander. Magic Presents Pride will also have some unique prize to complement its unique rule set. You mean game-breaking rule set. And again, game-breaking, I have to specify this, to virtue signal to 0.02% of the population when, again, your sexuality and the way you feel on your inside and all that doesn't actually matter in terms of the game. I could not care if you identify as a goddamn squirrel. When you come into the card shop to play Magic the Gathering, all I care about is how good are you at the game, how is your deck tournament legal, is your deck built correctly, and are we gonna have fun? And the fact of the matter, the fact that you have to ostracize all the players to make these bogus rule sets to make these individuals feel included when there was never any exclusion to begin with for the ultimate virtue signal. I truly do not think I've seen a virtue signal bigger than this in my time on YouTube. And this is the sort of stuff that I cover quite literally on the daily. All players who participate in the event will receive a rainbow holographic art print because yeah, you're gonna get a special rainbow card. Whoopee, it's not going to be worth dick in the next 3 or 4 years. The artwork for which will be revealed at a later date. It's a bit disappointing that there are no exclusive Pride promos tied to the event. At the same time, though, they may be for the best given its limited availability worldwide. Yes, because we got, again, those individuals in Saudi Arabia, I'm sure they were clamoring for a special foil promo Pride card. Removing high-impact prize support also prevents players from taking the event too seriously as well. I mean, again, it's Commander, it's casual, nobody takes it seriously, that's why it's the most dominant casual format, but again, it's clearly being taken seriously enough for Wizards of the Coast to virtue signal all over the place about it 2 months in advance. Different strokes. That said, the possibilities here are really exciting and have got the Magic community at large talking. Things seem to be split between those who want to figure out the best pair mechanically and those who want to figure out the best pair romantically. Imagine giving a shit about that in a game that's all about how well you build a deck and how well your strategies work and how well you can craft a meticulous book of spells to come out the victor. Imagine caring about if your 2 romantic partners, one of them being like an evil goblin overlord and the other one being like some manic pixie with some ethereal dark arts, how they get it on romantically. There are actually players, that is the sort of fan base that Wizards of the Coast has cultivated with modern Magic the Gathering and modern Dungeons and Dragons. They don't give a damn about the mechanics or how the game plays or the level of intensity that so many people took their time, their effort, and their money to put into these decks, learning the meta, crafting the whole nine. Nah, do you have a bear of a goblin character in some manic pixie dream girl card and you want them to fuck? Well, hey, guess what? This is the new version of Magic that's just for you. Both are valid approaches for an event like this. No, they're goddamn not. And both are interesting to think about. Doubly so, they are not. You're coming to play the game, play it well. No one gives a shit if these fictional cards will be able to bang in real life. For one, goblins and fairies and wizards and stuff like that aren't even real. Nobody is wasting precious brain power giving a damn if your fictional drawing of a wizard can bang your fictional drawing of a squirrel in battle armor. We're coming to play this well-crafted game that was made with love, with care, and that we've been supporting for 30 years now, and y'all here mucking it up with your lame-ass Tumblr fanfiction. In the r/Magic TCG thread discussing the event, players in both camps abound. Specialist AD4117 suggested a classic in Rafik of the Mini and Skithrix the Blight Dragon. These two curve into each other nicely and can wipe out a player, wipe a player out every turn if left alone. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why it is game breaking. This combo right here can wipe, usually commander is 4 players. It's a 4-player free-for-all. Normally you cannot put these cards together, but because of their insane rule break, they can literally wipe out one person every turn. That's a 4-turn clock to end the game once you've got both these cards out. That's ridiculous. That is insane. That is game breaking. How is anyone at this event, gay or not, gonna have fun if they're just immediately losing because you allowed 2 busted cards to work together in a way that wouldn't work together before? So not only is this an insane, ridiculous virtue signal that doesn't need to happen, it ruins the actual mechanics of the game. Kindle Indifferent threw another wild combo into the ring. Seer Conrad the Grim and Bruvac the Grandiloquent together. Grandiloquent together. These two would allow you to mill every player at the table for 2 for 2 mana, then deal 8+ damage to all players. And as someone that plays a mill deck, that sounds awesome, but also busted, broken. You've got 40 life in Commander. If every turn you're milling somebody, you're milling everyone 2 plus giving them 8 damage, again, that is insanely busted. There's a reason these cards were not meant to play together. This is an absolutely disgusting combination, as the original comment notes. And it goes on to talk about that. There's just other combinations, but also there's them talking about their fans, their fanships. Of course, this being an MTG Pride event, many players are also excited about the possible romantic pairings they can set up, as the Twitter put. And of course, they go on to talk about, Chandra and Nissa, which is an actual in-canon pairing, or they want to talk about with the recent Lord of the Rings crossover. Somebody brought up, where was it? Maybe it's, either way, it was the Gimli and Legolas cards, talking about how the Gimli and Legolas cards could be a romantic pairing, because of course, you can't talk about Lord of the Rings nowadays anymore without making it gay. Guys, this is absolutely insane. This is bananas. Wizards of the Coast has cultivated a disgusting fan base that does not care about the game. They only care about their headcanon, their ships, and turning it into Tumblr the card game. And I find that to be so disrespectful as somebody who has loved this game, loved this lore, loved the tournament scene for years upon years, and to see Wizards of the Coast making Disney look like, the Trump administration, honestly, with how woke Wizards of the Coast is. It is blasphemy. It cuts me to my core, and I don't know why people aren't upset about this. Again, maybe there will be some pushback. I don't know. This is quite literally brand new news, but why are you advertising a Pride event like this 2 months in advance that is game-breaking? If only because to say, hey, look at you, look at us, gays, we're on your side. Yeah, you and every single other company literally in the world for 1 month during gay month when they're all gay for pay before they turn their rainbow profile pictures back to their original colors. The same rainbow profile pictures that never get the little rainbow filter in any of those Middle Eastern companies. And the gays eat this shit up, and the allies of the gays eat this shit up. No wonder they're all fat. They just be eating good on all this absolute virtue signaling. You can't be a marginalized person if every single goddamn company in the world, from McDonald's to Cisco to Linux to Burger King to Target, all change their Pride logos, all change their logos to Pride things every single month and act like you guys are the top of the world. You can't be oppressed if all that's going on. No, at this point, you are the opposite of oppressed. You are lifted up. You are treated as a magnum opus, and now being treated as a magnum opus is, at least for 1 weekend, going to ruin the game, or at least ruin further, considering the game has already been bastardized, is going to quite literally rules-wise and mechanics-wise demolish the game that I grew up loving, and that is a damn shame. Well, those are just my opinions. I want to know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about Magic the Gathering, although I love it when I do get to talk about it, because it is, believe it or not, from all my complaining, it is the thing I love most besides Dragon Ball Z in all the world. But also anime, movies, music, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose videos for me to react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get in on the discourse with all the other vital idols. We are over 70 members strong, and I don't care what your beliefs are if you're in the Discord, as long as you can back them up and have fun with honest, open, free conversation, because the only diversity that matters is diversity of thought. So become a member, and until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.